Top 10 most regretted university degrees, according to a survey of 1,500 job seekers. It's based on expected salary, job security, and just the ability to find a job. Number 10 is English language and literature, with 52% of graduates regretting having done this degree. Literature, to me, so far, no surprises. I'm sorry. Number 9 is biology. Students, in my experience, study really hard. Number 8 is political science and government, with 56% of graduates regretting it. People who do these degrees either do really well or like not well at all. One thing that I really want to say is that in almost all cases, getting a degree is way better than not getting a degree. Having a college degree will make you earn 84% more than a person who doesn't. Degree number 7 is medical and clinical assistant. It's my first time hearing about this. Number 6 is marketing management and research. I think in general, marketing degrees are not ideal to get a job, which I guess why people regret doing it. And then research degrees is also something that is very specific. I think this type of degree is really vulnerable to automation. The average regret percentage across all degrees is actually 44. So 44% of job seekers regret the degree that they study. This one is really sad, I think. Number 5 is education, with 61% of graduates regretting this degree. There is just a lot of people who do education. There is a lot of people who want to be teachers, and there is just not enough of teaching spots. This is why the salary is so low. Number 4 is a communications degree. I think 9 times out of 10 is not worth doing. I have been doing communications for a living, never seen a good curriculum program for a communications degree. Number 3, with 72% of graduates regretting this, it has kind of bamboozled me always, which is liberal arts. Pick and choose like a buffet, different subjects, etc. Not super practical. Number 2, sociology. Well, I did sociology at LSE and like it was really helpful. As far as like having this degree as your only degree going into the job market, I can see why you might struggle. And number 1, most regretted university degree, with 87% of people who have done this degree regretting it, is journalism. If you're looking to do any of these 10 degrees, ask questions about them in the comments, and if you have done them, answer them.
In terms of people doing degrees, there's a lot of things that people don't put into consideration. People just go ahead and just choose useless degrees just because it's easier to do. You find that someone is doing an arts degree. I mean, if you're so good in drawing, how about you just start drawing and actually start to sell online? And I've also seen people doing a music degree, which is something that you don't even need a qualification for. You just need to start singing, start posting your music, whether SoundCloud or YouTube, whatever, and just hope that a record label will actually recognize you and catch you somewhere so that you can blow up and post maybe on TikTok. The problem is that people are actually doing degrees that don't actually make sense. Then they complain when they're not finding jobs. So at the same time, when you think about the degree, you need to think about the market that you're actually gonna get into, and also in terms of how many people are already present in that market.
So I graduated from SDSU with a degree in journalism back in May, and I got an internship for 3 months over the summer, and I've been unemployed since September. Not really a long time in the grand scheme of things, but I am restless. I want a job. I want to feel fulfilled. My career means a lot to me, and my success, I think, is a way that sometimes unhealthily I measure my value as a person based on whether or not I'm working and I'm doing well at that job. I think in my heart, I really wanted to be a journalist. I really wanted to travel the world. I wanted to write about the world around me in a very objective way from my point of view. But I also really like creative writing. I am a creative. I love acting, singing, playing guitar, songwriting. I love film. And those are things that I have done in the past, where I have been involved in projects, film projects and music projects and stuff like that. And it's been fun and it's been fulfilling. And since I got a little taste of that, I don't really feel like journalism was my calling after all. I don't think that I went into my college experience understanding what it was that I wanted to do, my passion. I just wanted to do the 4 years, graduate, and be done so I could have a degree and say that I got a degree, because my parents did not get their degrees. My parents did not get 4-year degrees. The highest level of education in my family is an associate's degree. Not a bad thing. My family is successful. My father is successful. And, it's good. It worked for him because he knew what he wanted to do. He knew what his passion was. I, on the other hand, I'm not sure. I'm so torn at this point, wondering, is there a place for me in this whole makeup of the world, and can I find that place quickly? Can I get there? And I definitely want a job. I don't want to not work, but I don't want a normal job. I don't want to sit at a desk and do paperwork and email back and forth with people. I need to be hands-on. I need to be creative. I need to be thinking and using my brain all the time. And I think I struggle with finding a job like that. I applied to everything that I think would fit my qualifications, but I haven't really heard back from a lot of people. I applied for a retail job just a couple of days ago. I got that job. They interviewed me. They liked me. And I don't want to accept it. I really don't think that it's right for me. And intrinsically, in my heart, it doesn't feel good.
Hearing this lady talk, these are the things that make the older generation to think that we are lazy and we don't want to work. Because in terms of her reasons of why she's doing what she's doing, I don't think it's justified. First of all, she did a useless degree, knowing in terms of the era that we're actually living in. People no longer buy newspapers, whereas back in the days, journalism actually used to make sense. Yes, there's still journalists which will go around chasing celebrities just to get the nice scoop. They do post online, but let's be honest with ourselves. That's not something that's actually on the rise. It's something that's actually on the decline. Why would you do a degree that you know that maybe in the next 10 years or the next 5 years it might be obsolete and no longer be applicable? So that's the first thing in terms of my critique in terms of her. The second thing is that she says she wants to do something that's challenging, then she goes around and still do a degree that's easy, that will not give you a job that's challenging. Why not get into the field in terms of the degree that you know that you get the most challenge, and you know that even in your work you'll be maybe solving problems such as maybe physicist, whatever. I'm just giving an example. I'm giving an example, not putting in into consideration in terms of the job market, but in terms of if you want a challenge, you need to do a degree that you know that even if you go on corporate or you're going to work, you'll get something that's challenging. Then my third critique is here. You know that, okay, you did a degree but you're not finding a job, then you find a retail job and you don't want to take it. I feel like these are people who are living well, and there's someone who's actually providing for her. Because I can already tell you that if you're unemployed and unable to make ends meet, you'll take any job that you have presented into you to make sure that at the end of the day you have food and also a roof over your head. I mean, even if you have a degree, it's not guaranteed that at the end of the day you will get a job that you studied for at varsity right out of the bed. Sometimes you might need to struggle a bit and work some other job while you're applying. It's part of life. So for me, this one, everything that she said, I feel like it's not justified.
Good.
Okay, so I know that people say go to school for what you're passionate about, and I did that. Right out of high school, I went to college for criminal justice, and upon realizing that degree does nothing for me, anytime I ask somebody how did they get to where they are in this field, they just said they applied. I asked, do they have a degree? They tell me no. Because most of the stuff in that field you're going to learn while on the job training. So I'm getting a degree in criminal justice just because they say they want a degree. Now, mind you, most of the stuff that at least I plan on pursuing with my degree is not the most money in the world. And of course, I'm working to like my job and to get money. But not realizing that in this economy, thank goodness for free will, that I plan on doing sterile processing tech. Why? This just came out of nowhere. Why again? Because I want to. Because why the hell not?
What's your biggest regret from all of college?
My biggest regret is probably majoring in kinesiology and then figuring out my last semester that I don't want to do anything in healthcare because I do not like it.
Are you graduating with a kinesiology major?
Correct.
You already know you don't want to do your degree?
Yeah, and I finished out this last semester. I just had 3 hours left of my degree. I just had to finish it out.
You're just going to accept it?
Yep, but I figured out this last semester that I don't like healthcare. But like, what am I going to do? Ditch my kinesiology degree like 3 hours before I finish? No.
Not taking my freshman year more serious.
What were you doing freshman year?
Partying every day.
Every day?
Almost every day.
Like Tuesdays?
Sometimes. A lot of Wednesdays.
Not knowing exactly what I wanted. Now I want a nursing degree, so right after this I'm going to have to get an accelerated nursing Bachelor of Science, which is going to take me another year. So I'm not actually done.
You have more school?
Yes.
I'm like 5 years out of college, and to this day, my biggest regret is taking a corporate job. I've had a few jobs, some better, some worse, but every single job has come down to you doing meaningless, mindless work for someone else. And I can never help but feel I'm capable of just way more than this. It's just hard because you don't really realize that until you're doing it. And then you're like, I worked so hard in college and school and everything to get here. And then you get there and you're like, this sucks. This actually sucks. Not only does it suck, dude, it like takes your soul out of you. It takes a piece of you out of you. There might be people watching that are like trying and struggling to get a job right now. And I get it. Grass isn't always greener. But dude, if you have the time, put everything you have into your business, because I'm running a business on the side that I hope to replace my income in the corporate world and escape. I'm giving every ounce of energy I have. When you're in a corporate job, you don't have a lot of energy left over after you finish your workday. You just don't. It is very hard to get done with your workday and shift your mindset to creative mode and actually go into work at your business, especially during that period in your business where, you know, your first few months, you're not seeing any results at all. So it's really hard to stay motivated. So use whatever time you have if you're not working to put into yourself and develop your skill set. The pure thought of working a corporate job like this for another 20, 30, 40 years, that is terrifying to me. That is more scary than anything I could try and fail at. So if you're in the same boat as me and you're trying to get out of the corporate world, you're not alone. That's what I'm doing. That's kind of what my page is all about, is to push you guys and to push myself and share my progress along the way.
It no longer feels like a privilege to study medicine, even though it is the most amazing job in the world. It no longer feels like a privilege to study medicine because the amount of work you're putting in doesn't really give you the reward financially. It no longer feels like a privilege to study medicine, which is really worrying considering the amount of responsibility that you have when you do start working as a doctor. It's honestly really heartbreaking to see medical students with such a bright future feeling like this about studying medicine, and I, as a newly qualified doctor, also feel a little bit like this. Here's a few things that you can think about to make yourself feel a little bit better. Having a medical degree is actually very powerful. The skills which you've picked up in your degree are applicable to most fields. If you really don't want to be a doctor, there are opportunities to work in consulting, in banking, in finance. Some people are going into big pharma. These companies know the value of a medical degree and they know how much work it takes to even get through the medical degree. And so they're targeting medical students and doctors in order to poach them from the NHS. The most difficult decision is actually taking your degree and your worth and leaving medicine, and that's something that I don't personally feel I'm ready to do or I want to do. Recently finished medical school, I can't just sit here and say that everything is going to be fine. I'm still optimistic. The thing is, you went to medical school because you wanted to be a doctor, not because you wanted to work in finance. But it's the conditions that doctors are facing that push you away from wanting to be a doctor, and not the subject matter itself.
So I'll just go ahead and say one disclaimer. Everything that you're hearing in this video, or everything that you hear on the internet, irrespective of the platform, I would say that take it with a grain of salt. It's not one shoe fits all. And also in terms of degrees and the job market, it will vary based on country to country, location to location. In one country, one degree might seem that it's useless, and you find that in another country, that's the degree that's actually in high demand. So that's something that I just want everybody to actually think about at the end of this video. And if there's someone who wants to choose and pursue a degree, I would say that that's something that you need to think about at the back of your mind. Check your country and your current location that you are in and ask yourself, okay, if I'm doing this degree, is it in abundance? Is it in high demand? For example, in a developing country where there's no infrastructure, you may find that a civil engineering degree is the one that's most needed. And obviously, if you see that there's an open market for this degree, definitely that's something that you need to focus on. Then again, you need to think about another country that's developed. They already have a lot of infrastructure in place and they're just maintaining the infrastructure and they don't need to start building new buildings. Obviously, that degree may seem useless, but it's not really useless. It just depends on location. So that's just something that I just want to highlight to everyone to consider.
I have a master's degree in business, and at the end of my program, my biggest regret with it is that now I have this degree that I don't think I even wanted in the first place. Before this, I got my bachelor's degree in marketing, and that was fully paid for by scholarships and grants, but those were contingent upon me staying in the program, because had I taken so much as a semester off, they would have been gone. And as a first-generation college graduate whose parents were not able to set aside money for me to go to college, I was thinking of it with a scarcity mindset. I thought, if I take a semester off and lose all this money, I'm never going to get a degree. So I finished my bachelor's, and then my GPA was high enough for me to bypass the GMAT to get into the master's program. And so again, I thought, I have to just do it. And so here we are 2 years later. I have this degree that I finished because I thought that I had to, and I don't regret doing it. I don't regret being accepted into the program and being afforded the ability to finish it to completion. I'm well aware of the fact that there are so many people who are aspiring to be where I'm at now and who might never get there. And so this rant might make me sound like a whiny brat, but if I'm being real, I don't care. Another reason that I really regret it is that I feel like I missed out on such a big chunk of my late teens and early 20s because I was working and trying to get the degree at the same time, while so many friends of mine were traveling the world, meeting cool new people, trying cool jobs that they didn't even need to get degrees for. And now they might not have their degrees, but they're either working in a job that they're passionate about or pursuing a degree that they are genuinely excited for and passionate about, and that part I am so jealous of. And at the end of it all, I do have a good job now. It pays well and has good benefits, but if I were to redo everything, I would slow down a bit and I would make sure that I was actually excited for the degree that I was going for instead of forcing myself to do something because I felt like I had to.
Out of my 3 years at university, I've changed my major a total of 5 times. So let's go through all 5 of those major stacks and let's talk about it. Okay, so in my first year, my majors were neuroscience and physics with a Russian minor. I don't know what I was doing with the physics. I really enjoyed the physics, but I was like not eating it up. And Russian was my minor because I took Russian for a whole year. So that's why I was like, yes, like Russian, neuroscience, and physics. And then at the end of my first year, that's when I told myself, low-key, I hate the physics major. But I also wanted to stay in physics because I took physics and I took math. So I was a biophysics specialist, a neuroscience major, and a Russian minor. So I changed the physics to a biophysics specialist. And like the moment I added that major to my acorn, I knew that I made a mistake. Like I knew that biophysics was just not going to be for me because it's just, yeah, I took one course and I was like, fuck this. That's also when I discovered that I didn't actually like the physics.
The reason graduates are unemployed is because of their academic transcript or because they chose the wrong degree. Due to the scarcity of graduate jobs in South Africa, companies are able to choose the best of the best during their recruitment processes. Meaning that you are not just competing with the 100 people in your class. You are competing with the thousands of people who are graduating from the same degree across every university in South Africa. To put you into perspective, when I did my vacation work at Bowman's, they had over 7,000 applicants for vacation work, and they chose 24 of us. There are certain degrees where you are not going to get a job with just an undergraduate degree. You are going to need to do an honors, and a lot of people can't afford funding. Meaning that when you are aiming for 50s and 60s or just to pass, there are students with 80s who are competing in international moot court competitions and essay competitions and doing legal vac work at some of the top law firms. Who do you think companies are going to choose? Is it fair? No, but it's the reality.
I know it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in, and we'll think that we are screwed irrespective of what degree you do. It doesn't matter what you do, you won't find a job. But I can really tell you that there's hope. There's hope out there, and someone who has a degree and someone who doesn't have a degree, someone who has a degree is actually in a better terms in terms of society and also the job. Even if you have your own business, if your business fails, you know that you have something to fall back to. So besides all these negatives that we've been seeing, something that can actually discourage you in terms of getting a degree, let me just end this video on a positive note in terms of some degrees which are actually maybe beneficial to you based on location. Also think about location. So those are the ones that I will show you next, and if you're enjoying this type of content, don't forget to subscribe.
We've done 10 most regretted, so here are top 10 least regretted university degrees. Number 10 is HR management, with 58% of graduates saying that they would do this degree all over again. Number 9 least regretted degree is construction trades. Anyone I've met who has done trades is actually really happy with their choice and would do it again. So number 8 is actually very surprising to me, because in the UK, people think that this degree is a huge waste of time, and it's psychology. Unfortunately, this is survey based, so there's no hard data that's telling us why. Those who have done psychology, maybe let me know in the comments. Number 7 is finance, with 66% of people saying that they would do it again. Financial sector has never been my favorite. I think very few people are in there because they genuinely love finance. Number 6 is also no surprise for me, business administration and management. I think this degree you tend to do later in your life when you have like a lot of the things sorted out, and you do as an add-on, so makes sense. As it's a mature choice, people don't regret it. Number 5 is a degree in health. I don't know what this degree is. Those of you who have done health, well done. Number 4 is nursing, with 69% of graduates who would do it again. I think generally fulfilled in life, arguably underpaid. Number 3 is engineering. People who do engineering, they either have immigrant parents, and this was like a compromise because they didn't want to do law, or it's people who are like really passionate about it. Number 2, and this one actually was surprising, 72% of graduates would do criminology all over again. And number 1 least regretted university degree is computer science. If you're looking to do any of these 10 degrees, ask questions about them in the comments, and if you have done them, answer them.